Welcome back to the shipyard. It's near the end of the month, so of course that means we've got a brand new preview! Woo! Alright, we have the IRW TMet this month. This is going to be for the Void. And a couple of notes. There is no model, no ship sculpt this month. And this is a policy that WizKids is starting occasionally when you have a ship that occurs a lot in the game, like a Dideradix, maybe a Cavort, or a Klingon Bird of Prey, something that is out there in droves, and it's going to save money on the stores for buying the kits, save on shipping, and in reality, everybody wins that way. Some people are going to see it as a negative. It's going to hurt new players a little bit, but at least a Dideradix is in the starter set, so that is what it is. And if you find yourself really trying to fly 18 Dideradix class ships, more power to you. But I think for most of us, we're going, hey, we don't have to find a way to store another Dideradix, so here we go. All right, the IRW TMet, 3264 like every other Dideradix, 2 tech slots, 2 weapons, 1 crew. Pretty good there. I really like the 2 tech because Romulan double tech, always nice. I really do like the 2 weapons here. You'll see why in a minute. 1 crew is the sacrifice you make to get both of those, but you have ways of getting 2 crew on other Romulan warbirds, so this is just a choice you make. Named ability. For an action, if your ship is not cloaked, when attacking with your primary weapon at range 1, get 1 extra attack die, roll 1 less defense die. So functionally you become a 5-1-6-4. That's okay. Like, I think that's a named ability you go, I can maybe do something with that. If you bring in the weapon upgrade that came on the Terex, the Mirror Dideradix prize ship, you get an extra attack die there, so now you get 6. Still, it's an action that gives you an attack die and makes you lose a defense die. That's kind of messy. And the fact that it can only be at range 1, and unless you bring a really high captain, you don't even know that you're attacking at range 1. It's really a gamble, so that's something to watch out for here. Our generic ship sacrifices a tech slot, not all that unexpected. Is what it is. Solid Dideradix, they're good ships. They turn really, really well, as I was able to find out in my last organized play event. I got a Dideradix booster, and it did a lot of good work for me. Alright, our captain this month is Tabaq, skill 3, no elite talent slot, costs you 2 points. During the gather forces step, if there is at least 1 other Romulan ship in your starting fleet, Tabaq may field 1 Romulan elite talent upgrade at a cost of 1 less than the printed cost of that talent. So Tabaq kind of has an elite talent slot, and I really like how they did that. It gives you an incentive to bring another Romulan ship. Tabaq works really well on the Hakona, or bringing the Hakona in your fleet. And we have some decent Romulan elite talents, Counterattack, Massacre, and several others, that are worth your consideration. So getting them cheaper, it's there. Skill 3, yeah, it's low. It's not the best thing ever, but you can make it work. Speaking of elite talents, we have Intercept. This is a 5-point talent. During the activation phase, if an opposing ship ends its move within your forward firing arc, before that ship performs its action, you may discard this card to immediately perform an attack with 3 attack dice against that ship. The defending ship may roll defense dice against this attack, but the attack cannot be modified in any way. Now, when I first read this card, I went, great! Another way to make an additional attack this round. And if it actually works that way, then it's an awesome card. And I think that getting 3 dice in the middle of the activation phase is a cool way to spend 5 points. It's not absolutely brilliant, but it's a cool thing. If somehow in a bizarre set of circumstances this uses your attack for the round, then this card is probably not very good. This card is probably best left in your binder. That is one of those talents that I do like hidden under Shinzon, though. I think that's a cool time for it. Because that's going to be really nice to surprise your opponent and go, ha, gotcha. Just tossing it out. Shinzon's getting a little bit more useful. But yeah, that's Intercept, and hopefully there'll be a wharf ruling on it at some point, and if not, hopefully the Fellowship of the Rules will come up with a ruling at some point. And if you haven't heard of that, link in the description below. Alright, our tech in this pack, self-repair technology. After your ship performs a green maneuver, you may disable this card to repair 1 damage to your ship's hull. It's great! For just putting a disable on it, you get a health back. And that's a nice trade-off. There's a couple of combos that let you remove disable tokens, and you're good. There's no Romulan card that repairs, so if you're looking to save points, this is going to be a good way to do it. And I think it's a cool card. Probably better if it had been 3 points, but I think it's a really useful card that may see some play. Maybe not in like regionals type play, but in some OPs and definitely in some missions, I think the self-repair tech could be a very useful card. And now we get to 2 cards that make this pack very, very interesting for 2 different reasons. So first off, we have the crew, and that is Tay or Thay or Tai or something. My Romulan pronunciation is not what it should be. It's almost like my Klingon. Anyways, cool effect. During the activation phase, after you move, if your ship has the cloak action on your action bar, you may discard this card to perform cloak as a free action. That is the action economy that Romulans needed, and this guy costs you 1 point. Now we have a 1 point crew member for Romulans that is extremely useful on any ship in any build. Right? Param and Bokra are 1 point crew members that have very specific uses, but this guy will work in just about any build, barring like a advanced cloaking or a scimitar build. But on something like the Valdor, on just about anything else, this guy's going to see some play. And he's just 1 point. The other card is also 1 point. And that's why I think it's valuable. Charging weapons. When attacking with your primary weapon, you may disable this card to reroll 1 of your blank results. It's 1 point. So who cares if you only ever use it once? Or it's a very late priority action. And by that I mean you want to target lock, you want to cloak, you want to sensor echo in or out of firing arcs. And having this as a backup of saying, I'm not in a great place. I would have liked if it had said, reroll 1 of your dice. That way you get a blank or battle station. But we're on a good path here. Like, this is a card that can help you. And it's 1 point, and it's not an action. And it's great. So, the TMet is a cool pack. And I think if you're a Romulan player, you have reasons to be excited. The named ship is not going to penetrate your fleet. It's just not going to get there. Though that named ability is going to help. But some of those upgrade cards are going to help you out. And they're going to make a difference in what this fleet, what this faction has to do in the game. And I think that the TMet is going to make a difference here. And ultimately, I don't mind that there's no model. I think that that's okay. And if you don't, remember, I'm just the messenger. Please don't shoot the messenger. You can comment and let me know. Tell me if you're frustrated with that. Tell me if you think that's a terrible idea. I can pass those things along. But also take a moment and think about it. And tell me what you think after you think about it for a moment. Yeah, I should also note, the pack I got, which may differ from what everybody gets. No target locks, no evade, no other action tokens. There is a token for the named ship ability, and I only got 1 shield token. It's like there's one less punch board. That's something, just be aware of that. There's nothing missing from your pack, it's just not there. It's a cost-cutting measure, I suppose. Alright, the other card that you're all here kind of wondering what's there is our resource, Tactics. It costs 5 points, which is about what you're willing to pay these days, especially now that fleet captains have retired, or will retire on January 1st. At the start of the battle, you place 2 evade tokens, 2 scan tokens, and 2 battle stations on top of this card. Each round, one ship in your fleet may choose one of the tokens from on top of this card and place it beside its ship, and you treat this as if the ship performed a free action of the appropriate type. If the ship performing this action does not have the action on its action bar, it may still perform the action, but it's considered a standard action instead of a free action, and they take an auxiliary power token. But, fundamentally, that's okay, because you want a way to give the Scimitar battle stations without taking Mendak? You want to give Mendak on one ship and have 2 cloaking ships to do battle stations twice? You can do that now. You want to be able to scan because there's cloaked mines all over the place? Now you can do that. You want to get that extra evade because you're going to get shot a whole bunch and having that evade token might make the difference between living or dying? There you go. For 6 action tokens, and all of them useful, because remember, scan also lowers your enemy defense, so unless you're up against Borg ships and Jem'Hadar battle cruisers, I think those are the ones that have 0 defense, maybe it's battleships. Either way, whichever ones have 0 defense, scan tokens are going to matter. And, hey, them not getting a defense die, yeah, evades only show up 3 out of 8, but they show up 3 out of 8. And if they're not even rolling that defense die, there's no chance of them getting an evade. So I think that this is a very useful resource. Is it absolutely better than Officer Exchange Program Protocol? I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. I think Tactics could be a resource that a lot of people are using. And I think that it could be part of a lot of regionals' top 4 builds. That's my thoughts on that. TMet, go win it. Tactics, show up, play in the Void OP, get the resource, you're going to want it, and most importantly, have fun. And that's it for me. So until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard. Thank you guys so much for listening, and take care.